All right. So as we look here at the adjustable support, we want to kind of devise our plan for attacking it, if you would. And like I said, if there's an obvious 0, 0 on a part, you want to assign that right away, because then, you have kind of a lot of things that you can use that absolute 0 or locations if you need to from it. It works out really nicely. And as I look at this, do you guys notice kind of maybe a point that is going to be to our advantage to set at 0, 0? I don't know if it's obvious, but how do you feel about that point right there? I like that one. You'll notice that there's, it shares a couple centers, and then dimensions are coming from there. So we're going to use that as our 0, 0. So we're going to start this drawing by drawing those items in place, those first 2 circles. Okay. So I'm going to go back to AutoCAD here, and I'm going to go up here. The last time that I was using the circle command, I must have been using the tangent radius. So I'm just going to arrow down, and I'm going to go to the center diameter, because these I'm given the diameters for. And I'm going to first specify my center point. Okay. In these early stages of learning AutoCAD, watching that command line is where you're going to know what you're going to have to do. So 0, 0 doesn't expect you to remember what to do next. That's why the command line is there. And then now it's asking me specify my radius. Okay. So I'm sorry, my diameter. So I'm going to do the 1-inch diameter first, enter. And now you'll notice that it's down in that lower left-hand corner. So I'm going to do a zoom, Z, enter, and then E, enter to get it on my screen. And then I'm just going to go over the center of it, and I'm going to click my roller and then kind of pan it over so that it's, something I can draw around. Okay. How are you guys feeling about that zoom option? It takes a little bit to get, and even using your mouse, it takes a little bit to get used to it, but once you kind of get the hang of it, it starts to come easy. And then now I'm going to do another circle. Okay. I'm going to do the diameter of 2 inches. I did the 1 inch, right? Is that what I did? Hope so. So I'm going to go up to circle. I'm going to specify my center by hovering this time. I could put 0, 0 in, but it's also the center of the circle that I just created. So I'm going to hover over that circle. And when that center activates, I'm going to left click. And now this diameter is going to be 2 inches. There we go. Okay. So I've got those 2 diameters in place. Kind of pan this over. Let's go here. So I've got these 2 diameters. Okay. Now, this radius and this radius depend on getting this in place, right? So I'm going to have to work on this. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to, again, think circles, the kind of the easy entities that we've been practicing. So I'm going to put a circle right here. Okay. And I'm going to put a circle right here. And they are going to have the centers as we see. So the first one we're going to put in place, this circle is in line. Okay. And as we look here, this is a radius of 3, which is the center here. So that means that this distance in the X direction for this first circle is going to be 3 inches. Okay. So I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to create a center radius, because that radius on the outside is a radius of 1 inch. So I'm going to go down to center radius on my circle, and I'm going to specify the center point. Okay. Now here, because I have my 0, 0 set here, and I know that this is straight over to the right in a positive X direction, I'm simply going to be adding in the coordinates of 3, 0. There we go. And now you'll notice that the center starts right there. And this center has a radius of 1 inch. So you're going to key in 1, enter, and there it is. Okay. Now I want to get this circle up here, but this circle, you see here, is at a 40-degree angle, 40-degree angle. So it doesn't have X and Y coordinates this time, does it? What other types of coordinates do we know we can use? We might not remember exactly how to use them, but how else can we do this? we can key in polar coordinates, right? Polar coordinates. Polar coordinates. You remember, does that sound familiar? Yeah, sounds familiar. All right, where do we find those? How do we put those in? Well, I think it's always good to know how to use our book. And I think it's good to go back and be like, oh, that's right. That's right. So on page 118, okay, on page 118, we've done a number of these, and we've been focusing mostly on today, absolute coordinates, the interactive method where we can, put that value in right away. But here is the polar coordinate, okay, polar coordinate. And the polar coordinate is going to be the distance, the less than sign, and then the angle. The distance, the less than sign, and the, oh, I saw the at symbol is there too. So we have to identify where we're going from because you always have to have a relative on polar. So because we have an angle and we know how far that center is away from our 0, 0, that's going to be our distance. That 3-inch dimension is going to be our distance, and the angle is going to be our 40. So we are going to go back to AutoCAD, and we're going to put that circle in at that 45 or that 40-degree angle. We're going to go to AutoCAD, and we're going to put a circle radius, and it wants to know where is our center point. Now we need to reference, we can only put polar in as relative. So we need to reference that center point, even though that's our absolute 0, 0. But we're going to go to, on our object snaps menu, the second one down or the second one in, depending if you have a horizontal or vertical, is going to be the snap from. Snap from. I'm going to click on snap from. And now I'm going to go to the center of that circle where our 0, 0 is. And now our base point is right there. Wait, did it do it? Hold on. I'm going to do it again. Center, snap from, and I'm going to go on. I'm not going to go to the center. I'm going to go there. Okay. I think it did it. I think it did it. So that's my base point. Now what I want to do from that base point, I need to enter in my coordinates for my center. So now I'm going to say at, because it's relative, and it's going to be 3 inches, just 3 for my distance. And it's going to be shift less than symbol. And I'm going to be at 40 degrees. Now, remember, from our base, 40 degrees positive is in the direction that we're showing. So it's going to be counterclockwise. So we're just going to put 40, not negative 40, and we're going to hit enter. And now notice that our center is up and above. Should we do that again? We do it again, just so we have it. I don't know why that is activated like that. Don't do that. No, don't do that. Okay. So we're going to go back to center radius. I'm going to go snap from. I'm going to go to the center. And then I'm going to start with my at symbol. 3 less than 40. Let's see, 40. Enter. There we go. And it's back up there. Now I can put my radius in. So that was all about getting it in the right location for the center. Okay. And then now my radius is going to be 1 inch again. 1, enter. Questions on that at all? Does that work okay for everybody? All right. Now we can start putting in place some of the outside stuff. Okay. So next, what I'm going to do, since I have these 2 circles in place, I'm going to run this radius here and this radius here. And those are going to be tangent radiuses on both of them, So let's do the bottom one first, because it's similar to the other ones that we've done. So we're going to go up to circle, tangent radius. And I'm going to go on the inside portion here. Don't go on the outside, because then it'll make an outside radius. Go on the inside portion of that circle and on the inside of this one. And then our radius is going to be 3. And it's going to generate it for us. That looks good. Now we want to do the outside one here. Now for this one, we're not going to go close to the center here, because otherwise it's going to do like a concave radius. We want to go convex over. So we're going to focus our tangents to be on the outsides of those circles. So we're going to do tangent, tangent, radius again. And we're going to grab the tangency on the outside, and then this one is a 5-inch radius. Okay. If you go to the inside, it's going to go concave. We don't want that. Might as well. I like to trim as I go. If I get too many lines, it's hard to differentiate. So I'm going to trim right away. And trim is always we want to go to the part we want to get rid of, and it's going to go to the next intersection. So I'm going to hover over, make sure it's what I want before I click. It is. Get rid of that, that, and that. Cool. Now, this one is just a straight radius out, okay, to the end. So this one, we do tangent, tangent, radius. I think we could. But this is going to be a center radius from the center here out to the tangent point out here, okay? Now, that distance, because it's a 1-inch radius, is 4 inches. So you can key in that radius, or you could do a tangency. I'm just going to key in the radius because I'm right here. 4, enter. And then now we can trim away the outside part that we don't need, which is this part right there. Okay. Probably a good time to save. So I'm going to do a save as. And this one is called the adjustable support. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back. So we did this radius because that's 1 inch out from here. Now this one's going to be 1 inch in. So that's going to be 3 minus 1. This is going to be a 2-inch radius. Okay. So I'm going to go back to AutoCAD. Center radius from the center here. My radius is going to be 2. And then I can get rid of, bless you, all the portions that I don't want. So I'm going to go to trim. I'm going to go on the outside here first. Inside. And it always goes up to the next intersection. So you might have to click a couple times to get completely rid of an entity. And now we can, you know, because of the outside being there, I can get rid of those inside portions of that circle. Okay. You feel like you can finish this one up? Or should we keep going and finish it? Your choice. Do we want to finish it, or you want to, or you like, I got this now? We can finish it. Okay, we can finish it. Might as well. I mean, we're here, right? Okay. So now we've got this inside portion to do, right? Kind of like that curved slot. So this has a radius of a 1/2 inch, and it shares the same center of the radius of 1 out here too, right? So we've got a center there. So we can draw a circle here for the 1/2 inch and a circle here for the 1/2 inch. Okay. So let's do that. So now we're going to go to back to center radius. We're going to hover over until we get to the center of one of those radiuses. So I'm on the top one. I activate that center. I'm going to click. And now my radius is going to be 0.5. Do the same thing for the bottom. Center radius, activate that center on the arc, click. And now it wants my radius of 25. Ooh. Oh, I did 25. Look what I did. I know what I did. I did a radius of 25, not 0.25. So I'm gonna click on that. I'm gonna delete it. So I'm gonna go back in. Let's do the right number. I need a decimal. Grab that center, and then 0.25. Okay. It's 0.5. Third time is a charm here. There we go. 0.5. All right, and then I need to add in the radiuses over here. So if we go back and just do a little bit of math, it's 3 inches to the inside. This radius is a 1/2 inch. So that means that the radius from here to here is 2.5, right? And the radius out here is going to be 3.5. So we're going to do 2 circles that have those 2 radiuses. So we're going to go back over here. I'm going to specify that center point. We want it to be, it could be 0, 0. You can key in 0, 0 this time if you want, or share that same center over there. And our first radius is 2.5. And hit enter. Then we're going to do another center radius from that same center, 3.5. Enter. Oh, look at that. And then now we need to trim. Almost done. So I'm going to hit trim. I'm going to get rid of the insides of these circles first. Get rid of that outside portion there. And this, because it's just going to be intersecting with a lot of stuff. Now we can go around and keep going. Don't forget these little guys here. Okay, they're on the inside. You might have to zoom in a little bit to get at them. And there's that one. All right. Is that it? Now, we just want to draw the geometry, so you don't need to worry about center lines or anything like that. So you don't have to put in these lines at all. Not necessary. Just the object lines, the solid lines there. So we've got everything in place. It looks good. One more save, and we are all set.